to 20 levels from the previous year. So I think from there, the chart prospects for Manipur Finance are not very attractive. I would suggest to either avoid, or if you're looking at switching on to some other name from the gold finance names, then I think Muthoot Finance could be a better bet.
Shaina, coming to you, we have someone asking, Ankur, actually asking a query on Adani Wilmar. Now, the company is actually going to be reporting their numbers today, but should they be entering at these current prices with a long-term view if they have?
Well, this is one of the most difficult questions because while I think the overall oil sector is being impacted by high prices of raw crude oil, which is imported. I mean the edible oils. But I think Adani Wilmar one can just add at any dips because the stock and that whole Adani Group stocks really defy any valuations and any what would I say fundamental calls. So one can look to buy it at dips technically.
Global and domestic factors at play with regard to coal, and this question is coming in from Neha Shahina. It relates to Coal India, and she's asking whether it's a good hold for the long term. She's already acquired 460 shares. She's not told us what level she's bought at, but would you suggest a hold for the long term?
Yeah, I would suggest a hold as of now. I really don't normally like PSU stocks, but given the shortages of coal and the price increases that Coal India is taking, I think the stock is showing very bullish stock patterns for the both the short term as well as the medium term. So I would continue to hold. I see a target of about 215 if you're holding it for about 3 to 6 months.
Right, Kunal. We have the next one coming in for you from Sita, who's asking about IDFC First Bank. Now, they're looking to sell the stock. So, should they be looking to sell at this current price, or should they be holding the stock on for some time?
I think selling at current price could be a good bet. The stock has been an underperformer last 6-7 months. It's been reeling below the 200-day moving averages. It's not seen any major breakout above its 200-day moving average. But at the same time, on the large cap front, there are attractive bets from the large cap stocks which have corrected 10%, 15% from their previous highs for themselves. So I believe it's a good time that you can switch from these underperforming mid cap names to large cap frontline stocks, something like maybe an ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank, or even the likes of Axis IndusInd Bank could be better prospects for a medium to long term play.
Well, I'm coming back to you on this next one. We've got a question coming in on AngelOne. This is from Vivek. He hasn't acquired this yet. He's wondering whether this is the current level is an attractive level to consider.
Well, tough one because the stock in the last 6 months has rallied more than 60% to 70%. I think it was at some 1100 or 1200 rupees. Just about the end of 2021, and now the stock I think hit a high of 2000 levels yesterday or day before. That's last week. So I believe from that perspective, the rally has been very steep. I think it's better you wait for some correction to come by into this name. So maybe a 20% correction at best from the tops of 2000 could be a good level to enter. That should be closer to 1600 mark.
Shaina, coming to you, we have Shobhan, who's asking about Globus Spirits. How is the stock looking to you? What would you be suggesting on the stock? Should they be entering at these levels for a long-term view?
Well, I think it will be better. I think the overall industry will do well, and United Spirits is my top pick as of now in the current space. Globus Spirits has been a very, very strong performer. If you look at 1 to 1.5 year chart, from here on, I think it will be nice if the investor can get in at slight declines. But I think overall the chart is good, the industry is good, so you can buy it at any dips.
This is a question coming in from Colonel Ghorpade, and he's asking Shahina about NHPC, which he has acquired in 2009 at an average price of 33, and that's exactly where the stock is currently trading. He's wondering whether to hold on, and I think he's seen a recommendation somewhere with a target of 45 for the long term. Would you suggest that he hold on, or should he exit and look at something else?
I would suggest he continues to hold on. It is, I think, the only green power that we have as of now, fully green power company. And in terms of project, they've got a number of new projects that will come on stream in the next 1 year. So I think the stock looks good even at current levels, and one should continue holding.
Kunal, we have a query coming in from Samir. Wants to know, who's from West Bengal and is asking, is it the right time to actually invest in Apollo hospitals at the current levels?
So I think purely from a risk reward play at 4,300, 350 where it's currently trading, I think it's an attractive bet. But the only catch is that the stock has been lacking a lot of momentum on the longer term chart. So it's gone into those phases of rallies, but those rallies have not been able to convert into vicious trends for Apollo Hospital on the upside. So there have been minor bouts of rally every now and then, but it's not really been more trend changer for the stock. So from a risk reward wise, it's attractive. You may get a short term trading pop, say 3%, 5% on an average. If you're looking out for that, then it makes a good sense to try and chip into the stock at current levels.
State Bank of India is the name of the stock that we're looking at next. Shahina, on the fundamentals, we've got a question coming in from Sujan, and he's wondering whether it's a buy and a hold at the current price.
Well, yes, it is. It has done pretty well in terms of financial performance in the last couple of quarters, and I think with some of the larger banks also doing reasonably well, SBI should also continue to do well going forward. Credit growth is picking up. So I would, if I'm not already a holder and I'm looking to buy it, then yes, you can buy it. If you buy it at slightly lower levels, maybe at say 460 type of levels, you can look for a target easily of about 510, 515 in the shorter term. But I think for the longer term, SBI remains the best bet in the PSU banking space.
Well, the next one is in the fertilizer space. Specifically, Neha wants to know the short-term view on the fertilizer space, and overall, specifically, if Deepak Fertilizers, is that a good time to buy the stock?
So it's a buzzing sector. We've seen so many stocks doing exceptionally well, whether it's the likes of Chambal Fertilizers, Coromandel, RCF, etc. They've had done fabulously well over the last 2 to 3 months. Now, specifically for Deepak Fertilizer, I think at 660, it could probably turn out to be a decent short-term play because the stock is tapping back into support points, good support points for itself. So I think if it holds on to that 650 mark, Deepak Fertilizer could be a good short-term play. You can look out for targets of 700, 720.
All right, Harpreet from Mussoorie is writing in. He's got 20 stocks of Paytm, or 20 shares of Paytm rather, which he's got at an average price, Shahina, of 1730. He got allocation in the IPO, and then he's averaged his cost price over a period of time. The question that he's asking is if there's any point holding the stock from the perspective of 1 to 2 years, and he's wondering whether he can make up his cost.
I doubt if he will pick up his cost. Okay, because there's a lot of question coming in from just about a lot of other fintechs as well as the banking space is sprucing up its act. So I don't think he's going to make he'll make up what he's lost. At the same time, I don't think even it makes any sense to continue holding at current levels. I think he will make more money if he switches from Paytm to something like maybe an ICICI Bank if he's holding it for a year.
Kunal, Sagar wants a technical view on Vipro. He shorted from 600 levels in the FNO, and is it a good time to be booking the profits, or do you see more downside? What is your view there?
I think it's a good time to book out profits from these IT names. Interestingly, Wipro has not fallen as sharply as the ADR had probably indicated, on the previous week. I think that's on Friday. So I think in that sense, maybe the selling is getting into a culmination kind of a mode. So I would probably be of the belief that if you've shorted at higher levels, good time where you can look to book out.
Okay. The next question is coming in from Rajendra Tyagi. He's writing in from New Delhi. Shahina is asking about Indian Hume Pipe, which he's acquired 1,600 shares of at an average price of 236 rupees per share. He's asking what he should expect. Should he book his long-term losses and reinvest somewhere else, or should he hold on?
Suggest he exits from the stock. They are being affected by higher raw material costs, and the charts also look pretty weak. So I would suggest he switches from Indian Hume to maybe some of the metal stocks or even some of the auto stocks, which are now looking like they would turn around.
Kunal, the next query is from Nachi, who's from Chennai, is asking about CARE ratings. What would be the support levels to buy into the stock, and for a long-term view, they want on CARE ratings?
I think it's a stock which is disappointed, over the last 4 quarters. There was a point where K rating was on the verge of a strong breakout about the 750 mark, but it actually turned out to be more of a false breakout just about some 3-4 quarters back, and from there the stock has sulked sharply and much below the 500 levels where it's currently trading. So I would suggest that you should avoid such kind of names which have a tendency of giving false breakouts, and specifically be a bit wary into buying these stocks more on the dips. Such stocks should ideally be bought when they confirm a breakout on the upside.
This next question is coming in from Aarti, and she's asking about Dickson at the current market price. She's wondering whether to acquire. Kunal, what's the view on this one? On the charts, how does it look?
Again, last 6 months very weak in terms of chart patterns, but it says that the stock has now come back to its previous lows, which it had hit I think in the month of February, 4,000 odd levels for itself. So let's wait for maybe another couple of days. If the stock holds on to this 4,000 mark, then it makes sense to go for a contra buy or a high risk buy into stocks like Dickson. Other than that, I would just suggest a wait and watch.
Shaina, the next one is coming in for you. We have KJ Singh, who's asking about RCF, the long-term view on this stock. What would your suggestion be?
I think RCF, one can continue holding at current levels. The government has announced that they will be increasing the subsidy both on urea. So I think in terms of current levels, it looks good for the medium term. I would say I would give it a target of at least 110 if one is holding it for maybe 6 months.
Kunal, I'm going to club a couple of questions. One is coming in from Pratap Pillai. He's writing in from Qatar. The other one is coming in from Denny. He's writing in from the UK. Both of them asking about Frontline IT Companies. Denny has acquired Infosys at levels of 1750 and looking for a month's view. And the other view is being sought on Tata Consultancy Services with a target of about 6 months. What would you say about these two counters?
So again, IT stocks getting into a downward trend. I would sense that this may turn out to be more of a multi-month downward trend for many of these IT names. But if you bought at higher levels, ideally, as a sort of a rule for large cap names, if you get large cap stocks maybe at 15% to 20% max, so this is the 5% band which you should be playing out for. If you get 15 to 20% discount from your earlier purchase price, you should look to average out these names. So I would suggest that if you are looking at it from a more of a medium to long term play, use these kind of corrections. 15% downside to 20% downside from your previous acquisition price should be considered as a good averaging opportunity.
Right. Shaina, coming to you, we have Nafas Muhammad, who is asking about the textile sector, which would be the good stocks that you would be looking at in the textile sector. He's from Bangalore.
I would avoid the textile sector completely as of now, especially if you're looking at cotton textiles exports, because cotton prices are at an all-time high, and availability of cotton also is going to be an issue. And exports, while they have been they have supported good growth for most of these companies as of now, I think one should just avoid the whole sector. If one does definitely want to buy something in the sector, then maybe a Gokul Exports would be a better bet, because they have a couple of things going on for them in terms of increased capacity and lower and better margins.
Coming back to you, Shaina, on this next one, again, I'm clubbing a couple of questions. Chandrasekharan is asking about a couple of stocks, Lemon Tree and Thomas Cook. And he's asking which one would you pick between these two on the basis of reopened trade, things going back to normal, etc. And Deepak Goyal is saying that Thomas Cook is showing weakness despite the fact that travel is now increasing. So what would you say about these two counters?
I would prefer Lemon Tree. I think we've had very positive commentary coming in from the management, and they have got a lot in terms of capacity addition that they are planning to. So I would go in with a Lemon Tree. I think even the charts look better.
Okay, right. And Viewers, it's that time where we start the rapid fire round and the segment for that. So, Shaina, I'm going to start with you. We have Boja, who's asking about Indiabulls real estate. Is it a good time to buy the stock at current price?
Indiabulls real estate, I would say, it looks like a decent bet at current levels, having given the whole correction, so I will give it a buy.
Okay. IRCTC, this is a question coming in from Venkatesh. From the long-term perspective, Shaina, would you still suggest that this is a good buy?
I would suggest only buy it at dips, because in the shorter term, maybe even medium term, they could go into some bit of correction, but it's a long-term buy.
Okay. Kunal, Aarti Industries, is it a good time to look at the stock at these levels?
A disappointing stock in terms of trends over the last 1 year.
First Source Solutions seen quite a precipitous drop over the last 6 months. We've got a question coming in from Anthony. Kunal, would you suggest a fresh buy from a medium-term perspective?
Well, I would suggest to wait, not jump into the bandwagon as such. Above 150 is where I believe that the trends could be far more stronger for FX.
Okay. Shaina, Shrikant is writing in a query whether it's the best time and best level to buy Tech Mahindra for a long-term view.
Tech Mahindra, yeah, you can buy it. It is one of the better performing IT stocks. If one is looking to buy it for the long term, then you can buy it on dip. Maybe you can buy it close to about 1,000 levels, and then you can look at a target of 1,000.
Okay. Solara Active is the name of the counter, Kunal. On the charts, we've got a question coming in from Bobby Jacob. He's writing in from Coimbatore. He's asking whether it can be bought at the current level.
I would suggest a complete avoid. The stock has fallen precipitously over the last 12 months from 1800 to now 550. You should avoid such kind of.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of the query segment. Shaina as well as Kunal, thank you so much for joining in and for taking all the questions that you did take, and also on that conversation on the auto pack that we had earlier on the show. Everybody who's written in and not gotten their query answered, well, there's only enough time for a few. We do try to get as many in as possible, but we couldn't get yours. But tune in tomorrow, or rather day after tomorrow, and we'll take as many more as possible. Do stay tuned, more coming up on the other side of this short break.
Start your trading day with non-stop updates and uninterrupted trading ideas to power up your portfolio. With unmatched experience and analysis from our market experts.
You're watching the market right here on 80 now. With
start trying to make a comeback. It's a smart start.
Sensex is up more than 400 points.
Management is now with us. Overvaluation case.
see that 17K back.
Watch the opening and closing shows from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. 80 now. Break free.
Ebix Cash, हर खुशी के लिए काफी है। SEL Tiger TMT Rebar में ताकत बेमिसाल और इसका एडवांस्ड रिप टेक्नोलॉजी रखे सीमेंट से बॉन्ड सालों साल। इसे कहते हैं बॉन्ड।
टाइगर बॉन्ड।
इन दीवारों में टाइगर रहता है। SEL Tiger TMT Rebar।
पेश है M Stock by Mire Asset। एक बार ₹999 की अकाउंट ओपनिंग फी दें और करें ट्रेडिंग एंड इन्वेस्टिंग बिना किसी ब्रोकरेज के।
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Atmanirbhar Bharat is not only a clarion call for a national self-reliance, it also creates the way for expanding our Prime Minister vision from Atmanirbhar Bharat to Bharat Par Nirbhar.
Presenting partner IDFC First Bank, always you first. Powered by CoinSwitch, India's largest crypto app. Sustainability partner GE, building a world that works. State partner Government of Chhattisgarh. Associate partner Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Insurance partner LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. For a new day partner Toshiba.
Asian Granito India Limited presenting its right issue of rupees 441 crores on BSE and NSE platform. Issue price of